channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this cuff. So when you want to attach a cuff to the end of your sleeve that has a slit, there are two ways you can do it. Some of the cuff, the slits, they come on top of the sleeve. Some they come in between where the seam is. So I wanted to make a quick video because I'm currently creating a video that would need this cuff. So I wanted to make a video to explain how you can get this done. So guys, there are two ways to do this, right? It depends on you. You can just go ahead and measure the length you want the attached cuff to be, right? The attached cuff at the end of your clothes. So it depends on you. Let's say you want it up to, remember I'm making it in a miniature version, so let's assume this is your sleeve, this is the end of the long sleeve, and then you measure, maybe you want to use about 8 inches or 6 inches depending on the length of the cuff, so that you can be able to fold it over. What you would do is just to go ahead and whatever you, so if I decide to use 5 inches, I'll add 1 inch to it, half an inch to fold the top, half an inch to fold the bottom, you understand? So what you're going to do is, once that is done, you're going to make sure that the width of this is just the width of your cloth, right? The width of this here is the width of this, and then you're going to go ahead and find the center. So for me, the center would be somewhere at, so this is 10, my center would be 5. So rule a straight line down at that 5, and then on this line now, what I'm going to do is on this line here, I'm going to go ahead and make a seam coming from this point here, right? So as you've made this line here, you're also going to make that line here, so that you know this is the center of this, this is this. So this is the one, the first method is if you want the slit at the top of your sleeve, like because this is going to be the top part of the sleeve, it's going to be somewhere here, right? So if you want this the slit to be there, this is what you're going to do. So find halfway through here, mark it, and then you're going to go ahead and sew it all the way to this point. Come back like this, cross over like this, and then go back up, cross over this way, just like that, down, come back up, come up here, because I'm going to be slitting open this part. So let me make the stitch for. So guys, it depends on you what you're working with. So let's say my length here is like 6 inches. I'm going to stop 2 inches before the end, because one thing you don't want to do is to get to the very end of this here. You have to stop at least 2 inches before you get to the end. Oh, this is okay. So now what you have to do is just to go ahead and split open this part here. Now that you've made your seam, I hope you guys can see the seam. And then I'm going to slit it on this end here, on this end here, so it doesn't bulk up. So once it's done now, the next thing will be to go ahead and cut off this edge here, so it's not bulky on the inside. Cut off this edge here also. So you see what I have here, just to cut off here, because you want this point here to be pointy, right? So now all I have to do is just to go ahead and bring this part out. Guys, if your fabric is not strong, stiff enough, you can go ahead and iron in your stay. That would also help. So iron in a stay if the fabric you're using is not strong, but this one here is quite strong. So guys, this is what we're working with. You see why I said half an inch? We use half an inch to join this upper part here. So now the other half an inch of seam allowance, so that you'll still be left with the length you're looking for here, is going to be to join it here. So you're going to go ahead, tuck in half an inch here, tuck in half an inch on the other end, and then take this cloth here and put it in between. So you see I folded half an inch here, and then the bottom part I also, so you fold half here, fold half at the upper one, you see, on the two ends here, and then take this here, put it in between, and then make a stitch all the way to the end. So guys, this is it here. So all I have to do now is just to fold it this way, and then measure the end of your cuff, like, because you know your sleeve as it's coming down, this is normally mostly maybe 3/4 or end of the sleeve, long sleeve. So you know as it's coming down here, it's narrower, so you just have to measure what your cuff would be, mark it here, and then use 1 inch of the seam allowance that you already made for it to sew it close. So I'm just going to do that and we'll move to the second one. So guys, you see, if this was attached to a dress now, you see that this slit here is at the top of my hand, like it's going to be somewhere here on my hand. But the one we are making for this video, it's the other way around. This cuff here, it comes with the part with the slit, the seam, right? So I'm going to show you how we're going to do the second one. Some people even have it turned over this way, right? But I'm going to show you how we're going to do the second one now. So okay guys, to get the one that is by the side here, what you're going to do is I'm going to just use one of this here. So the one initially, the one I'm trying to replicate has a longer sleeve, so that means you would need probably about, let's say, 7 inches to get that length, right? So that you can be able to fold it into 2 when you're done. So you would need 7 inches, but just watch me. I'm just going to use this much here because I don't want it that long, and I just want to fold it on the Ankara itself, not with the fabric. But if you want to do it that way, you just need the fabric the way it is now, and you even need 2 of it, so one placed on top of the other. You need about 7 inches of length, right? So that would be 3 inches, 6 inches in between, half an inch for seam allowance here, half an inch for seam allowance on the other end. You understand? So that will make it 7. So that means you'll be left with 3 inches when you're done. So if you fold the cuff, it will be 3 inches on this side, 3 inches on the other side. That's why I said 7 inches. But you see how I'm going to do my own now. I'm just going to use one, but it's still the same method. So all you have to do is, let's say your own is 7 inches. You've gone ahead and sewed the end here, right? And it's like this now. What you're going to do is you're going to measure the width you have here. I don't think my fabric goes that wide, but it doesn't matter. So this is what I'm working with at this point now. You see, from this point to this point. So all you have to do now is to go ahead and narrow it a little, right? So you're going to go ahead and narrow it from this point. Maybe go in 1 inch here and go in 1 inch on this other end, or you can do less than 1 inch. You can do half an inch. That would be okay too. Half an inch is good. So do half an inch on this end here, half an inch on this other end. If I was making my own long, maybe I would have done 0.75. like if mine was going to be that long, like 7 inches that I spoke about initially, I would have done 0.75. But since I'm just doing it once, I'm just going to end it here. So all I have to do is just connect it to this point here, and then connect this other one to this point here, to the end here. You see, it's almost like you're making something that came down this way. So if this upper part is shorter by is wider by just that half an inch I took out at this bottom here. But if you notice, the end here is exactly the width of this fabric. So now I'm going to cut this off here. So cut this here, and then also cut it on this other end here. The next thing I'm going to do is just to take it to the sewing machine, flip it back like this. If it was separate, I would have sewn this close, but it's not separate for me because I'm using a folded fabric. If it's separate on your own, sew it down here. Let me just mark it so you know. Sew it from here to this end with half an inch. Come down here, sew it with half an inch. Come down here, sew it with half an inch. You understand? And then what you're going to do is just to go ahead and join it here. So guys, before you even start to join yours, remember to give it half an inch so that this end of your cuff can fit inside of it. You understand? You need to make sure that the width of this here would have half an inch on this end, half an inch on this end, because the whole goal in this one here is that this cloth here would fit inside of this cuff, right? Since I didn't put that into consideration, but my cuff is still wider, what I'm going to do is just trim off a little bit, like half an inch here and half an inch here. It won't affect my clothes because I have almost 1.5 here as the seam allowance. So I will just take away a little, just so that at the end this cuff here will fit inside of this here. From even the end of it and the end of this part, all of them will fit inside of my cuff. So guys, this is what it looks like. I've joined it on one side now. So you see I flipped it over. So I'm just going to use the other half an inch now to tuck it in now and sew it down all the way to the end. So guys, if it was longer, it would have been narrower. Like I said, a longer one, you can do 1 inch or 0.7 on both ends and then angle it so that when you fold it, it will look something like this, you see. And just remember that the reason you're doing this is because you still, from this point here, this end here, you're still going to sew in your seam allowance here. So that's why it's good to take out enough from this end, because some part of this is still going to go into the seam. So I'm going to go ahead and sew. So guys, the trick here is not to use a lot of seam allowance here. So when you're sewing it in, all you need is like about half an inch, and don't use a fabric that is too bulky so that it doesn't create tension here. I'll still go back in and readjust mine, but what I'm trying to say is that the whole point is that you're going to make it in such a way that when you angle it out, what you'll have left here is going to be little, so that when you give it your sewing allowance, when you fold it over, because the one on that picture is that you can be able to fold it over. And but like I said, I'm not really looking to fold mine because my sleeve length is not enough at the moment, so it might just remain straight. But you see, if it was longer, if I fold it over, it's supposed to give me this angle. And if you look at her own, it forms this angle when you fold it over. So I would advise, if you're making a longer one, 1 inch is definitely okay. So that's basically how you're going to get this done. So that's it here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Guys, look out for this particular tutorial, and yeah, bye.